98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. How are you this morning? Monday, the 6th day of April 2020. And we're here until midday today. And as always, and I say this every day, but we always do, we've a lot of stuff to try and get through between now and midday today. But first off, I want to talk about something that was trending on social media over the weekend. We all know what we're living through at the moment. We all know that we're in virtual lockdown. Not quite lockdown, but not far from it. We're not allowed to go more than 2 kilometres from our homes for exercise. We can go out for essential shopping and to help elderly relatives and so on. But other than that, we're being asked to stay at home. Anyhow, over the weekend on social media, it started trending. The one thing that you're most looking forward to doing when this is all over, or when restrictions start to be eased. I think we all probably expect that even though these current restrictions are in place until this weekend, I think we all probably expect it to last a little bit longer. Maybe for the rest of the month, we'll have to wait and see. But when restrictions start being eased, which they will eventually, the time will come that these restrictions will be relaxed, and probably slowly over a period of time. But I want you to send me right now a WhatsApp voice note about the one thing that you are looking forward to. What's the first thing that you're going to do when this is all over? So it can be something really, really simple. It can be, I want to walk further than 2 kilometres from my house. It can be, I can't wait to hug my mammy because I haven't seen her for so long. It can be, I can't wait to get down to my local for a pint because I can't stand drinking out of cans anymore. Whatever it is, I would like to hear from you. I want you to send, please, a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I want to find out from you, what is that one little thing that you want to do when this is all over? Because we have to start thinking to the future. We have to start thinking that this will all eventually come to an end. Probably, as I said, slowly over a period of time. But it will eventually come to an end. And we can start resuming our normal lives. So what is the first thing that you are going to do when this is all over? Now, this is a conversation that myself and Jeremy were having earlier on, and he's in the other studio, far removed from me, socially distanced. And Jeremy, what is that one thing that you really look forward to doing?
It's very soppy, okay? I'm just going to warn you. And it's just something I was talking about my kids to grannies over the weekend. Both, if you have children and their grandparents are still alive, you'll know how difficult it is at the moment for grandparents not being able to see their grandchildren. The first thing I'm going to do as soon as the whole thing is lifted is bring my kids to both their grandparents and just let them hug them for as long as they want. Because I got some sad texts from their grandparents at the weekends, because I was sending them photographs and they both text back saying, oh, I'd love just a snuggle of my grandkids. It must be very difficult for grandparents at the moment not being able to see their grandkids. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop the kids in the car, bring them to both their grandparents, and then they can stay there for about 2 weeks because I need a break as well. So I'd be like, you can hug Luke, you can hug Alexandria. Can you take them for 2 weeks?
Okay, so that's the one thing you're looking forward to doing, to bringing your kids to see their grandparents.
And by the way, the thing you want to do is something I want to do as well. It's mad. When things are available to you, you don't do them, yeah? And then when they're taken away from you, you're like, oh, geez, I need to do this.
Go for a swim.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you can have a shower, but it's not the same thing as actually having a swim.
How big is your shower?
Yeah, I can't even explain it to you because I don't do it that often. But because I can't do it now, I want to do it. I want to go for a swim. And I don't live close enough to any one of our beaches. to go for a swim.
You wouldn't swim in the sea in this weather anyway. It's boiling.
I might be desperate enough to, but I don't live close enough to the sea to be able to go for a swim. So that is something I really, really want to do.
And do you know somebody that owns a swimming pool that could give it to you for an hour?
No, not within 2 kilometres of my house, no. No. So that's ruled out. We want to hear from you, and they're flying in now. 0877 98 98 98. Just for the first bit of our show today, we want you to tell us the one little thing that you can't wait to do when this is all over. And it will be one day. It will be one day. Okay, let's start having a listen to them. Have a listen to this one. I can't wait for a double cheeseburger, says this message.
Lads, I'm craving a double cheeseburger from McDonald's. And I think it's only because I know that I can't have one.
And again, just like with the swimming, because you can't have one, you want one. And I know last week, just before McDonald's closed, I went in to McDonald's in Phibsborough to get a burger. Because I can't. What is that one little thing that you want to do when this is all over? This is from Ash, and it's in relation to what Jeremy was saying.
This is all over. I'm going to go to Nana and Granda and give them a big squishy, squashy hug.
Ah, isn't that lovely, Ash? Thank you very much indeed. Keep them coming in to 0877 98 98 98. Send us a WhatsApp voice note, please, nice and short and to the point, of that one thing that you're really looking forward to doing when this is all over. Let me see. Peter sent us this.
Hi, Adrian. That one little thing that I'd love to do is to take my girlfriend out to the movies for our anniversary, which is happening slap bang in the middle of the lockdown. Yeah.
In fact, it's a conversation we were going to have later on in the programme, Peter, and we might get you back on because we're going to be talking about relationships and finally, how you're coping if you don't live in the same house as your boyfriend or your girlfriend. It's put an extra, I won't say a strain, but it's made your relationship very different. We're going to find out how people are dealing with that a little bit later on. Here's another one wanting to see Granny.
It will be foot to the floor, driving to Drimna with the kids to give Nanny Angela Kyo the biggest hug ever.
Ah, isn't that lovely? Keep them coming in. 0877 98 98 98. When this is all over and done with, or when they start at least easing the restrictions on us, what is that one thing you're really looking forward to doing? One of my things, I know this is a little bit sad, but one thing I'm really looking forward to is having a pint of draft beer. Not a can, but a pint of draft beer. I mean, it seems like such a simple thing. This is from... sorry, I don't know who this is from.
Hi guys, I am dying to just bring my kids up to collect my mum so we can go to the playground together and then after that go see my nanny.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Kieran is dying to get back to the gym.
Lads, I'm dying to get back into the gym. Just dying to go to the gym. I completely miss it. Loads of stuff I miss doing. Well, that's my thing I'm dying to do. It's Kieran here, thanks.
Thanks, Kieran. Keep them coming in. A voice note. And by the way, if you've never sent a voice note before, I only discovered at the weekend my own missus didn't know how to send a voice note. If you're on WhatsApp, down in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little microphone symbol, okay? You just press and hold that microphone symbol while you're recording and release it when you're finished. Okay, it's as simple as that. So press the little microphone button down in the bottom right-hand corner of WhatsApp. Press it, speak, and then release it when you're finished. And that's it. That's a voice note, and it sends as a message to us, for those of you who've never, ever sent a WhatsApp voice note. The playground is what this one is. Oh, no, sorry. Paula sent this one to us.
Hi, Adrian. The one thing I'm looking forward to is hearing the words. Would you like to have a look at our drinks menu before we take your order? It's
actually true, Paula. It really is. This child has a lot of plans.
I can't wait to do. I want to go to on the first day when the crown is gone. I want to go to the McDonald's pancakes, and the next day I want to go to the playground, and the next day I want to go to the cinema. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much indeed. Lots of plans. Sue is one of our listeners that listens to us regularly in Cyprus. You may remember she was on the programme with us last week talking about her good news on Friday, being that she actually got outside her front door for the first time in 2.5 weeks because they've a very strict lockdown regime in Cyprus. Anyway, this is the message that Sue has sent in to us.
Morning all. Just want to let you know that when I get back to Ireland, I'm living here in Cyprus. I just want to hug all my family, big time.
Big time, all right. This lady, actually something I did over the weekend, but she wants it done professionally.
Hi Adrian, I can't wait to be able to take my car to get valeted. I had to clean it myself yesterday and it looked pretty much the same as before I started.
You're not doing it properly. I actually spent a lot of Saturday afternoon valeting my car and just cleaning it spotless, to be honest. And there was a great sense of achievement on Saturday until I woke up on Sunday and a load of birds had all over my car. So I have to do it again. Gives me an excuse to do it again. Here's one from Michael.
Hold my granddaughter for the first time.
Yeah. It's one thing seeing a photograph. It's one thing seeing a little video. But without that hold, it's just not the same. So that's something really to look forward to. Keep them coming in. My God, they're flying in here. We're asking you, what is that one little thing that you can't wait to do when this is all over? It can be the most stupid little thing, but it's something that you're really missing and really looking forward to eventually getting to do again. This is from Martin.
When this is all over, I'm going to celebrate by running around the streets naked. It might scare an awful lot of people, but I'm going to be a happy person. This is Martin.
Martin, that could lead us back into lockdown again. Keep them coming in. A WhatsApp voice note, nice and simple, to 0877 98 98 98. Kieran is a Liverpool supporter.
When this is all over, I want to see Liverpool lift the league title. Happy days.
Will that happen, though? That's the question. By the way, we can't get back to everybody. There's so much coming in on this. We will actually do this feature again going forward because we all have to be optimistic to realise that this will eventually end. This will not go on forever, and we will eventually be free. Our movements will be less restricted and all of that. Patricia, what is that one little thing that you're really looking forward to?
To hug my 2 grandchildren, Olivia and Harry. So want to hug them. It's unbelievable.
And tell me, how have you been communicating with them?
FaceTime.
And I was saying last week, actually, and I really do feel this. This would have been an awful lot more difficult for all of us to deal with if we didn't have things like FaceTime or Skype or whatever the case may be. It has made us a little bit closer. But can you imagine living through this without any of that? It would have been really difficult. But just that physical touch and a hug from your grandchildren is...
That's all we want. That's all we want.
And isn't it gas that these are things that we all always took for granted? And
of course.
Yeah.
Of course we did. It's just so hard. It's very, very hard for all of the grandparents not to see their grandchildren.
Well, actually, let me just play this WhatsApp from Mary.
I can't wait to hug and play with my grandchildren. I miss them so much.
It really is. It really is, like I said, one of those things that we all take for granted. I can't wait to see my own kids. They're adults, but they live with their mammy, and we live in different houses. And obviously I'm talking to them every day and seeing them every day. But actually being with them is what I'm looking forward to. Thank you, Patricia. Dee, this is fairly serious. Let's have a listen to this from Dee.
Hi, Adrian. The thing I'm looking forward to most is bringing my son to his physio classes. My son has cerebral palsy and has missed his speech therapy and his physio classes now for the last few weeks, and I'd be really excited to start bringing him again. Thanks. Love the show.
Thank you, Dee. Stephen sent me this.
Stephen here. Myself and the wife Bridget are married 40 years now, the 26th of this month, and I'd love to be able to get my kids and my grandkids together and have a good big group hug, because you won't be going away anywhere, and that's for sure.
No, I think you're right. Thanks, Stephen. Edel sent me this message.
Hi lads, the best thing that I'm looking forward to doing when this is all over is giving my best friend Lorraine a hug, because I missed her 40th.
Thanks very much indeed, Edel. A quick, short WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. A quick, short WhatsApp voice note, and tell us what is that one thing, and it can be, like I said, the most ridiculous thing, but it's something that you actually miss at this moment, that you can't wait for this to end for. Jacob is a little boy who can't wait to go somewhere special.
My name's Jacob. I cannot wait to go to Wexford.
To Wexford? Oh yeah, this is something we can all relate to. Claire sent us this. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Claire. I can't wait to get my hair done because my friends are going to call me Snow White if they saw me now. So I can't wait to see Rachel to do my hair.
Oh, yes. I took a look in the mirror over the weekend and I realised I've got problems. I'm going to be like a 1970s hippie before this is all over. You see, we do have a hair trimmer thing. I have to get my head around trusting my missus to actually cut my hair. Anyway, Mary's daughter is dying for something very specific.
Good morning, guys. My daughter Lexi is in the car here just after visiting the doctors. Hi. And she cannot wait to go for a McDonald's breakfast and go to the beach.
Yes, indeed. And like I said, some people are lucky enough to live close to the beach. I have to say my favourite place to be when the weather is nice is just walking along a beach, not necessarily getting in for a swim, but I love taking the dogs out around Skerries, and I really look forward to doing that again. This is lovely. This is from Megan.
Adrian, my name is Megan, and the one thing that I want to do is, when this is all over, I want to run down to my nanny's and have a huge party and go down to my auntie's. She's a few maybe a little bit away from my nanny's, and we're going to have another raiding party in her house. So yeah, that's what I want to do when this is all over.
Very good, Megan. Thank you very much indeed. We'll play a couple more, and I'm really sorry if we don't get to yours, and if we don't get to yours we will come back and we will do this again, because I think it's an optimistic note. We have to look forward to this ending. As I said, it may not, it most likely probably won't be this weekend that it ends, but it will eventually end. Have a listen to this one.
Hey Adrian, the thing I'm looking forward to most is seeing my own 3 kids and my 8 grandchildren. They do come over and stand at the gate, and I stand at the front door, but it's not the same. I just want to hug them, and 2 of my grandchildren to say, if I even go to move a little bit when I'm propped up against the wall, stay away from me, Nanny, you have that corona.
Thank you very much indeed. This is from Erica.
When this is all over, I plan to give birth to my little baby boy safely.
I don't know when you're due, Erica, but I'm assuming it's later on in the year. Ash has an overdue wedding anniversary.
Morning, Adrian. I can't wait to celebrate my first wedding anniversary, which we missed on the 29th of March, and see all our friends and family and give them big hugs. Ash here, thanks.
Well, Ash, belated happy wedding anniversary, and actually I do think it's a test for relationships. If you can get through the next couple of weeks, then you're set for life, aren't you? You really are. A couple more. This is from Lynette.
This is Lynette.
I can't wait to give my son a big hug. He came back from Australia a couple of weeks ago because of all this, but he went to Donegal with his girlfriend, and that's where he is now. I haven't seen him in 8 months. I just can't wait to give him a big hug. Lee, I hope you're listening. Love you. Bye.
All right. Chloe misses her dog.
Adrian, I can't wait to see my family who live back home in Tyrone, and I can't wait to see my dog Brandy and my little rabbit Jackson. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Chloe. That's a lovely accent you have, Chloe. And finally, this message.
Hey Adrian, can't wait until the Premier League is back. Oh, I'm missing it so much.
Actually, there's something. I would be a moderate football fan, let's say, and I like nothing more than watching a game of football. And I noticed over the weekend, I think it was on RTE2 on maybe, was it yesterday, that they showed all of the goals from World Cup 2014, the year that Germany won. And it was great. They were all great goals. But there's just something about a football match being live. You can't... all of the goals from World Cup 2014 I hadn't seen before, so at least it was a little bit of football, but it's not the same thing. But no, well done to RTE for putting it together, but it's still not the same thing. Finally, Mary can't wait for the balls to be picked.
I can't wait to go back to my Tuesday night music bingo, and also to give my 2 grandchildren, Brooke and Brandon, a big hug. Bye.
All right, Mary, thank you very much indeed. And thank you all of you. And like I said, if I didn't get to yours, we will come back and we will do this again later on in the week as a way of looking forward. On the way, after the break, we're going to be finding out about the murder of notorious criminal Robbie Lawler.
The sound of the city from Clondalkin to Clontarf. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
Now, while we are living through what we are living through, the criminal underworld continues to operate as if nothing were going on. Over the weekend, one of Dublin's leading criminals, Robbie Lawler, was murdered in Belfast. The notorious gangland figure is widely believed to have been responsible for the brutal killing of teenager Cian Mulready Woods back in January. I'm joined on the line to find out a little bit more about this guy by the crime editor with The Sun, Stephen Breen. Stephen, good morning and welcome to 98 FM.
Good morning.
A lot of people may never have heard of this guy, Robbie Lawler. Tell me a little bit about him, his past and what he was involved in.
Well, he certainly wouldn't have been a household name like someone like Freddie Thompson or Fat Freddie or anyone with a reputation or a nickname prevalent in the media. He was someone who has been involved, though, in organised crime for over 15 years. He's 36 years of age. He has over 100 convictions, and I suppose for his involvement in organised crime, his reputation was for violence, using extreme forms of violence. He's someone who is linked to 5 gangland murders, going back to his first one in 2005, then in 2009, 2010, 2018, and then of course his involvement in the murder of Cian Mulready Woods, which really shocked everyone in Ireland because of their barbaric nature.
And what is understood to have been his involvement?
Well, he is alleged to have been the person responsible for Cian Mulready Woods.
For actually killing him?
For actually killing him, for actually luring him to a property in Drogheda, and for murdering him, torturing him, and then dismembering his body. He was the Gardaí's number 1 suspect for this incident.
Okay, so your headline today in the paper says he sealed his own fate with a 6 stabbing video. Can you explain that to me?
Yes, we were speaking to some people in Ardoyne at the weekend. I was up in Belfast, and really it was Lawler had been engaging with a local drug dealer from the Ardoyne area of Belfast. He had previously been to Belfast just a week before he was murdered, where he had demanded cash from this local drug dealer over a drugs debt. But during the week, it's understood that Lawler sent a video to this man in Ardoyne, showing a video of a stabbing, of an incident of a man being stabbed in Dublin. But this was nothing to do with Lawler. Lawler was just, trying to intimidate this individual and to show what he was capable of. He was blowing, his own ego. He was informing people that everybody was aware of his reputation, especially in Gangland circles, especially within the realms of the Gardaí. Ordinary people in the street mightn't have known him, but he was a very violent individual. He did have a very fierce and violent reputation, which was known in the underworld. A lot of people were terrified of him, but he was someone who thought he was untouchable, believed his own hype, and had no problem going to Belfast, a place he didn't know anything about, a place that would have been alien to him, to go into Ardoyne. It shows you how dangerous he was and how deluded he was to go in there with the belief that his reputation would force this young individual who's involved in drugs to pay up the drug debt.
Okay, so that was what he was in Belfast on Saturday for, to collect a drug debt.
That's the belief, yes, that he travelled to Belfast. He had been engaging with this young man from the North Belfast area. He'd been engaging with him in drug deals. There was at least, we believe, 20 grand owed to Robbie Lawler. Then he did travel to Ardoyne from Dublin with two other individuals and a juvenile. And the PSNI believed that the intention was that for him to go there was to collect a drugs debt. They don't, and they've already said that they don't believe he was there by chance. He was there for a reason. So when he did arrive at this house in North Belfast, he went into the property, but the back door, a gunman came in through the back door of that property and shot him dead at the gate of the house as Lawler tried to run away.
So one thing I noticed over the weekend, because a lot of them were sent to me, was lots of videos circulating over the weekend of people celebrating this guy's death, but that has actually indirectly helped the PSNI in their investigation into this.
Yeah, well, you'd see, Rory Lawler was hated. He had many enemies all over Ireland, in Drogheda, County Louth, and indeed across Dublin, because of the previous murders that he was linked to. And he was seen as someone who was very violent, and because he was currently involved in the Drogheda feud, but also had been involved in a feud with the Mr. Big from the Coolock area, he was someone who his enemies were, without question, very afraid of because of his propensity for violence. But when this happened, the news filtered through that that he was dead, then people did celebrate. But of course, these videos were shared, and it will form part of the overall. And you'll have the Gardaí working very closely with the PSNI in their investigation to try and establish, who did this. But because he had so many enemies, that both the PSNI and Gardaí will have to look at possible suspects in this case. Was it a question of the drug dealer in Belfast doing this, his own gang doing this, or did the drug dealer in Belfast, seek help from the criminal gangs in Dublin or in Drogheda because of the ongoing feud that Lawler had with various gangsters?
Okay, finally, Stephen, he would have had, as you said, many enemies. Does he have many friends that will want to take revenge for this killing?
See, that's always a concern in cases like this, but on this occasion, two of his most senior associates are in Spain. They were involved in the Drogheda feud. His brother-in-law, Richard Carberry, who was involved in the Drogheda feud, is now dead. He was also shot dead last year, so he has very little friends at this stage. A lot of the people involved in the Drogheda feud have now gone to ground because of what happened in relation to the murder of Keane Mulready Woods. The Gardaí have been out in force in Drogheda as well. So Lawler would have been the leading figure in the criminal faction involved in the Drogheda feud. But the question is, because he's gone, because he had this fearsome reputation, will there be anyone else that can seek revenge for him? I don't think he had that many friends.
All right. Like I said, as we continue our lockdown, the criminal underworld continues to operate with, would appear, impunity. Anyway, Stephen Breen, crime editor with The Sun, thank you very much indeed for talking to us on 98 FM.
Thank you.
There you go. Just a background to that whole story. A story that many of you will have seen on social media over the weekend. This is 98 FM.
This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
Now, in just a moment, I'm going to be talking to a doctor who's based in Cork who believes that the wearing of surgical face masks in public should become mandatory in order to protect members of the public. Dr. Nick Flynn is a GP with mycorkgp.ie, and he says that this needs to happen in order to protect members of the public. And I want to find out whether or not you agree with this. If you've been out shopping recently, you will see in the supermarkets that only about maybe 10 to 20% of people are wearing masks or covering their faces. It's very rare that you'll see somebody out jogging or running wearing one. And people could be carrying the virus and not even showing any symptoms. So is it time to force people to wear them in public? And also, how easy are they to buy? Have you been able to get your hands on them? Are you somebody who is wearing a face mask when you're out in a public place? Let's kick off with I'll start with Dr. Nick Flynn. As I said, he's from Cork, and there have been mixed messages over the last couple of weeks about face masks and their use or usefulness. And I want to find out whether or not this is something that we should do. So, Dr. Nick Flynn, thank you very much indeed for joining us here at 98 FM. Let me begin by asking you, what is your recommendation on PPE for general society during this pandemic?
So, looking at what's happening throughout the world, Adrian, and looking towards countries that have a lot more experience than Europe at dealing with COVID-19 and SARS and coronavirus outbreaks, looking at China, Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, all of these countries have made masks for all a central part of their risk reduction strategies. And I think that is where we're looking at, and that's the space we're in, that we need to do everything we can to reduce the risk. So if we have members of the public wearing masks, what it actually does is it prevents somebody who might have the virus from spreading it. So it's not preventing the wearer from becoming infected. It's stopping the wearer from spreading infection. And this is very important, even where somebody doesn't have symptoms, because we now know, and we can see from the HSE contact tracing strategy, where they now contact trace people for 2 days before they became symptomatic. So a confirmed case, the contact tracing now extends to 2 days before that. So it's widely accepted that asymptomatic and early symptomatic spread is a driver of this virus, and wearing face masks, in addition to the other personal protective measures that we have, hand washing, not touching our faces, avoiding physical contact with others, all that physical distancing. Face masks will not replace that, but they will add an additional layer to it, because there are situations where we can see in the shopping aisle, paying for your messages, there are various situations where 2 meters distance is not possible. And it's important to remember that the COVID-19 virus is transmitted by droplets and close contact, and droplets play a very important role in that. And when you speak, you're always generating tiny droplets that you can't see, and the masks will help reduce this. Nothing is going to make this absolute, but this is about risk reduction. I do think we need to look to other countries where this has been a central part of their public health policy, and looking to Europe. We've got Czech Republic and Slovakia who are now doing it. Turkey introduced it over the weekend. Germany are considering it. And I think most significantly for us, the Centre of Disease Control in the United States on Friday recommended masks for all as a voluntary public health measure.
Now, as you mentioned, in many Asian countries, and indeed I was in China myself last year and was struck by the amount of people who just on day-to-day, long before any pandemic broke out, the amount of people that walk the streets wearing face masks. And indeed, you will see people from Asia travelling to Europe and still wearing face masks as they go about their daily business, because that's what they've become used to. Is there any suggestion that the wearing of face masks as almost a cultural thing in many Asian countries has helped to control the spread of this virus?
Well, I think if you look at the way the curves have flattened in those countries, and clearly the flattening of a curve is multifactorial. It's all the protective measures. It's personal protective and socially restrictive measures. So all those measures contribute. Also, what the Asian countries have done is they in general, they have had excellent case identification and contact tracing. So they've tested an awful lot of their citizens, and they've had very strict shutdowns. So, for example, the Chinese shutdown was very strict and was very strictly imposed on people, and was very strictly policed. So it's multifactorial. But if you look at the other thing those countries did, is that they wore masks. So everything we do contributes to the risk reduction. I think, Adrian, it's important to say as well that we're not talking about medical grade masks for all. It's important that we remember that medical grade masks, be they surgical masks or these FFP2 masks, the respirator masks, are needed for healthcare workers. They're in short supply, and within healthcare workers, they should go to the front line, and within the front line, they should first of all go to those at most at risk, which would be the ICU staff, the ENT staff, and the emergency department staff. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about homemade washable masks that would be washed every day, and that when people are out and about, they would wear the masks as an additional personal protective measure, reminding people again that they protect the public, they don't protect the wearer. So the ethos behind masks for all is I protect you, you protect me.
There has been kind of mixed messaging, though, around face masks. And indeed, a couple of weeks back, the HSE saw no need for us all to be wearing them because they didn't believe that it helps in any significant way.
I think it's understandable that the HSE would be cautious in that regard, because the last thing the HSE want to do is to try to have a scramble for medical grade face masks in the public, when really, clearly, they should first of all go to frontline healthcare workers. So we're not talking about medical grade masks, we're talking about homemade masks that would prevent the wearer from shedding the virus and spreading it.
And would that include something like, I saw somebody yesterday wearing a scarf around his face? Is that what we're talking about?
Everything that prevents the droplet spread from the wearer's mouth is helpful, but again, I suppose it's the quality of the fabric and that it would have several layers. And if you want, I can send you on. The CDC have a very, very helpful explainer or infographic. It's very simple about the benefits for the public to wear the mask and how to wear them and how to make them. So there's a very simple explainer or infographic from CDC that will help people to make their own informed choice in that regard. Okay, now anecdotally, I've noticed myself over the last week or two, more and more people wearing masks or covering their faces when they're out in public places like shops. The one question, though, is, can you get them? Yeah, and again, I don't think that we need to get them. I think we need to make them. And I think that's the message that we need to drill home to people. And then we need to educate people around their use. So we don't want people wearing masks and touching the mask all the time, or wearing it over their forehead or under their chin. Masks are designed to be worn over your mouth and nose. They should fit tightly and snugly, but not restrict breathing, and worn for the duration that you're out of the house and in public, and then taken off from behind your ears. So you don't take them off from the nose piece, you take them off from behind your ears and washed when you get home. And if we do that, we'll be using masks correctly. Okay, but do you know if there is any supply available here in Ireland of homemade masks? Well, my own practice has commissioned a local seamstress to make 150 masks for staff to wear at work. So if one of our staff members is asymptomatic but positive, that it will reduce the risk of spreading the virus within our own team. And that's not replacing our physical distancing or hand washing and everything else. It's an additional measure. So I'm not aware of anybody selling them, but we approached the local seamstress who's currently making 150 for our team. Okay, finally, Dr. Nick Flynn, you are recommending that people try to move toward wearing face masks in public. Do you see this becoming a HSE recommendation, as we've seen happening in the States? Obviously, we can't predict the future, and I'm not a public health doctor and epidemiologist, but I think if you look at the pattern that's happening around the world, I think it's quite likely.
All right, Dr. Nick Flynn from mycorkgp.ie group. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us on 98 FM.
Thank you, Adrian.
Okay, after the break, I'm going to be talking to you, Aisling. She's a little bit confused about this, and I would like to hear from you. Would you like to see it becoming mandatory for us to wear face masks in public places? And the whole idea is not to prevent you getting the virus, it's to prevent you spreading the virus, because you could have the virus and not even know it because you don't have any symptoms, or you've got a very mild dose of it and don't even realise that you have it. And also, if you're somebody who has made some, you might share that with us. Call us now on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98.
The sound of the city from Balbriggan to Blanchardstown. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
So here's the question. As we move forward with this crisis in this country, one thing, and I mentioned this earlier on, I was in China last year. Don't know if I'd be in a rush back to China again, but anyhow, I was in China last year in Beijing, and one of the most significant things that I noticed, and this was long before any sort of pandemic broke out, was that it was standard practice for people to wear face masks. Not everybody, but the majority of people going about everyday life in Beijing were wearing face masks. And it's something that has in other countries, like for example in South Korea, it appears to have made a difference in the way in which this virus has spread in that country. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note.
Greg here in Hiroshima, Japan. Japan is famous for wearing its face masks. Basically, as long as I've been living here, people will wear face masks all the time. Now it's allergy season, hay fever season, so a lot more people are wearing them to protect themselves. But obviously, in my job, we have to wear them because of coronavirus. Our students basically want us to. Coronavirus rates are very low here. Japanese people tend not to hug or shake hands. It might have something to do with it, but definitely wearing masks is the number one thing that everybody is encouraged to do, be it by health services, government, etc. You come here to Japan, you'll see it every single day.
And as I said, it was something that I noticed. It was a kind of a cultural shock for me in China last year. But you kind of get used to it, actually. And you don't even notice people wearing them anymore. Now, Aisling, you were a little bit confused about the messaging that's going out here.
Good morning. Yes, I am. Just a little. I mean, especially on social media, there's so many different things going around, obviously, and some are saying wear masks, others are saying don't wear masks if you have symptoms, others are saying, definitely wear masks, leave them for the health service. It's just so confusing. I mean, I think... Okay, but one of the things that Dr. Flynn was saying is he's not asking people to go out and try and procure ones that the health service need. These are the professional masks. But he's asking people to look at making their own. And the whole idea is it doesn't stop you necessarily contracting the virus, but it stops you spreading the virus if you have it. And some people have it and don't even know that they have it. Oh, absolutely, I agree. But I think a lot of us kind of have to be told, told. If we were told to wear masks and the exact type to buy, or to make or to do whatever, I think a lot of us, anything to stop this disease spreading any further, or making it go away faster. Yeah, I mean, it is a kind of a cultural shift for us Irish, because like that message from Japan said, in Japan they don't hug and kiss and shake hands and all of that anyhow, and they all wear masks, and all you have to do is look at the figures from Japan, and they have had cases of coronavirus, but for the size of its population, very, very little compared to other countries. So maybe that's part of it. Yeah, it could be. Well, that's what I like. I mean, I'd have no problem wearing a mask whatsoever if I knew that was the right thing to do. If you were told by or somebody, our government even, if they came out and said, listen, the best thing for you to do is make your masks, you know, when you're going to the shops and everything, and that's another thing about the shops. It's so sad going to the shops recently because everybody is afraid to even smile or talk to each other. Or
In fact, I was in a supermarket on Saturday afternoon, and just to kind of demonstrate how on edge people are, it was one of the German retailers, and there's a lady up at the cash register, and while she's putting her messages into her basket or into her bag, the next woman in the queue came right up close to her, and she turned around and screamed at her, "Do you not know what 2 effing meters is?"
Yeah.
And the woman ran back. That's how touchy and sensitive we have become, and I agree with you. It stopped people talking to each other. It stopped people even smiling at each other.
Yeah.
But maybe if we were all wearing masks, it might make us a little bit more relaxed. Would it?
I think it might.
Yeah.
I think it could, because, I mean, then you feel like obviously your mouth is covered. It's all to do with coughing and it's all to do with spread. So maybe, I mean, but I think it's just as a nation we need to know what to do nearly, what to be told, not to be told what to do, but what we could do.
Yeah, and like I said, I've noticed increasingly people wearing them, and I know, like I said, when I was doing that shopping on Saturday, I noticed maybe 20% of people were wearing them.
Yeah, I have seen a few people going shopping wearing them. Well, obviously that I don't know about when you need to go out exercising or out walking or whatever, but I definitely may be in the shop.
In the shops, yeah. Okay.
But only if we're told.
You think you think this is only going to help if we're actually told. We need the HSE or whatever to say, ladies and gentlemen, going forward, we'd like you to do your best to wear a mask out in public.
Yes, I think so, because there's so many different things on Facebook. I mean, there might be a doctor in Spain saying wear one. There's a doctor in Italy saying don't wear one. There's another doctor somewhere else. There's no, and it's
I know, but the figures would suggest in places like Singapore and Hong Kong and Japan, the spread of this virus has been much less than it's been here because partly they wear face masks all the time.
Well, then there you have it. So I think maybe they should have a chat and decide what to do. I mean, anything that stops it or slows it down.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's all we want.
All right, Aisling, thank you very much indeed. Kaka sent me this message, originally from the Czech Republic.
Hi, coming from Czech originally, there is wearing mask mandatory for last 3 weeks. They do also have a full lockdown for those 3 weeks, and they only had 71 new cases yesterday, so I believe it helps. And yes, I do wear mask when going out. Whole family does it, including small kids.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Kaka. Karen, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Adrian.
Now, Karen, you are a home carer visiting many different houses, and you haven't been provided with any face covering at all.
No. We were told by the HSE to our job that it's not necessary to wear them unless you're showing symptoms or your client is showing symptoms. But you don't know because it takes the symptoms a long time to come out on you. So should it be mandatory for me and my co-workers to be wearing a mask? That's my question.
A lot of people think yes. So give me an idea. Obviously, I don't want to name names or whatever, but what sort of clientele would you be looking after?
Well, they'd be dependent on us. So personal care.
Okay.
So if you're doing personal care, you're wearing an apron with no sleeve covering and you're wearing gloves. And, that's it.
And no face covering at all?
No face covering. And
so
it's impossible to stay 2 meters, even a metre. You'd want to have some long arms.
Right, okay. So I'm assuming then that your clientele would be in vulnerable categories?
Definitely,
yes. And you're visiting them regularly.
And they have other carers going in and out, not just me. So they would have maybe possibly 4 or 5 different carers coming in and out of the house.
None of whom are wearing face masks?
No.
So if you were, God forbid, Karen, if you had the virus and you may be showing no symptoms, as many people have, by the way, you could very easily be spreading the
Spread
virus
that to 10 people. Yeah, easily. And I fear for that because I am in close contact with them, and so are my fellow workers. And none of us are provided with masks. If you want to wear a mask, you have to go buy it yourself. But you can't buy any. There's none there.
Okay, well, in a while we're going to be talking about different places that you can get them, and what that doctor is encouraging us to do is to actually make our own if we have to. Even... In fact, I'm about to play a WhatsApp voice note that is saying that even wearing a scarf around your face is better than nothing. And I have noticed a lot of people wearing a scarf around their face when they're out in the supermarket.
You can't do that going into a client's house.
No, you probably couldn't. Would it be more intimidating for a client if you were wearing a mask? Yeah.
Yeah.
I do worry about that.
Yeah, because you have to kind of reassure them too that we're just wearing this so as not to spread it, but then they'd be afraid you have it.
So it's that is the worry, isn't it?
It's a very confusing time for them and us. We don't know what to do. We're following guidelines.
Yeah, you obviously also believe that we do need guidelines to suggest to us that we do need to wear face masks in public. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but even if you could suggest to the client as well, we'll provide you with a face mask, so put them on every time someone comes in, like their carer. So it wouldn't be so intimidating that we're just wearing one.
And as we said, this is close personal care you're providing.
Very, very close personal care. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little bit worrying, all right. Thank you, Karen. Ciara sent me this message about wearing a scarf is better than nothing.
Hello, good morning, Adrian, and good morning, everyone. Well, I believe whatever the doctor said, that it's good for everyone to just wear a mask. If they don't have, they can just wear the scarf and protect themselves and even others, because you never know, like if someone is having a symptom and they're not wearing a mask or anything protective, so anyone could catch it. So it is better like everyone wear it for themselves and for others. This is what I believe and what I'm practicing right now, although I don't have a mask. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Ciara. We'll take a very quick break and we'll take more of your calls. Do you think we should introduce the mandatory wearing of face masks in public? We're back in just a moment. It's 11 o'clock across Dublin. Good morning. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And this is Emma with Monday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. Testing for the coronavirus should double this week. The HSE says its capacity to check for COVID-19 will rise to 4,500 tests a day. Donald Trump has insisted there's a glimmer of hope, despite warnings the US could be entering its hardest week. More than 9,500 people with COVID-19 have died there. A 27-year-old man who was arrested in connection with the murder of a Dublin criminal in Belfast over the weekend has been released without charge. 2 other men and a 17-year-old boy are still being questioned over the shooting of Robbie Lawler from Donamead on Saturday. And a tiger in New York has tested positive for the coronavirus. 6 other big cats at the Bronx Zoo have possible symptoms. It's thought to be the first ever case of a tiger catching COVID-19. However, all the animals are expected to make a full recovery. And now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. It is Monday morning, the start of a new week. We were talking just a while ago, if you've just joined us, to a doctor called Dr. Nick Flynn, who's an epidemiologist. It's a hard word to say. And he works with mycorkgp.ie. And he has said quite clearly that he believes it is time that the government issued a directive asking people to wear face masks in public. Anecdotally, it would seem that in countries where the wearing of face masks is the norm, and in many, many countries in Asia, it is the norm. It can be a little bit weird when you actually go to countries like Japan and see everybody wearing them. But the rates of spread of COVID-19 in countries like Japan has been significantly less than it has been in Europe or in the States, where we're not used to wearing face masks. Dave, you believe that this is essential?
Well, it is 100%. Now, there's a couple of issues I just talk about. So the first would be wearing a mask mask. In my opinion, like I work within the healthcare sector, it is very essential because I'll give you an instance. I'm not going to call names. I've got a friend who works within, home care, like the other lady said. He contracted the virus. He never knew for 7 days. And he was walking in and out of people's homes and, doing his stuff because he was a home support worker. And then he started developing symptoms and then, as all went on, he had the virus and he felt so guilty. Even up until today, he doesn't want to go back to work. He still feels very, very guilty because if he had a mask on him, if he had something on him, what I mean? So the problem is some people have the symptoms. They don't even know to the 7th or the 8th day. Some people just are carriers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
you can have this virus and not even realise that you have the virus, and unknowns to yourself, be actually spreading this virus.
Is on hold.
He's just put me on hold. You there, Dave? No, he's put me on hold. Fair enough. Selena, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Selena.
Good morning, Adrian. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Selena. Well, what's your view on this? Do we need to go down this road?
My view is I think everybody should be wearing masks, it's better to be safe than sorry. I'm just going to give you an instance like me. And I was out in my local area the other day and I'm wearing a mask the past maybe 3 weeks.
As a matter of interest, where did you get it or did you make it or...
No, I bought masks over in the pharmacy.
Right.
So I have masks. I don't change all the time because it's only me. I firmly believe it's only me that's wearing the mask. Okay? So I probably have bought 10 of them. I'm probably on the 7th one or something. But no matter when I leave my house, off I go out and I put my mask on me. And I feel very secure when I go into the local shop or wherever, I have my mask on me. I know the social distance and everything. But, majority of us have a habit of putting our hands to our face.
We do, and just as you're saying that, I'm actually doing it right now, this very second.
Okay, so majority...
And it's a habit I've tried to break, but it's very, very difficult.
It's very, very difficult, Adrian. So everybody has the habit of putting their hands to their face, and we're all well aware of we're not to put our hands to our face. So for me, wearing a mask, I feel secure. Although I'm still not keep putting my hands to my face, but if there was an odd time that I forgot, at least have something there to protect my nose and my mouth.
Mm.
Okay, so
would you like to see it becoming mandatory, as it has done in other countries where people are...
It definitely should. I'm going to just give you an instance the other day. I was out in my local area. I was after coming back from Lidl. The minute I got into the car, I removed my mask. Now, I do put it underneath my chin when I'm in my car, okay? So people can say lifting it up and down, it's my germs, it's nobody else's germs. So I was in a checkpoint, right? And the guard asked me where was I going, and I said, I'm just coming back from Lidl. And he put his head in my car, and which I didn't appreciate. Now, he didn't put his head completely into the car, and I'm going to tell lies if I say that. But the minute he stopped me, I put my mask up onto my face, and I was kind of sitting back, But I think the guards and everyone, he had his face practically in my car. He probably thought I was mad to put me mask up on me when he was talking to me. But at the end of the day, it's better to be safe than sorry,
Okay, so you would like to see some sort of guidance asking for us to wear face masks when we're out in public?
Exactly. Everybody, even down as far as the kids, wherever. There was a girl I know is making them and wherever, and somebody was saying, oh God, they have to be sterile. If somebody buys a mask and it's just for your use only, it is safe enough. That's to my knowledge. I'm not a doctor. I think it's safe enough. If I get into my car, I don't put the mask on, but it's on me. But the minute I get out into fresh air, they say, it's not in the air. I wouldn't take any chances on it. My mask goes on. I go into that, wherever I go into.
So it makes you feel a little bit safer, does it?
Yeah, it makes me, Adrian, feel a little bit safer. Exactly, a little bit safer. So if everybody was wearing a mask, still keep your social distance, that's fine and wherever. But having a mask on, I think it's extra protection.
Okay, and a lot of people argue that it won't do any harm. I don't believe it'll do harm. maybe it'll make people a bit, I don't know, lax about their hygiene or whatever, but that is one of the worries with this. Ellie sent me this WhatsApp voice note saying that making it mandatory is a step too far.
I think it's ridiculous, the idea to make it mandatory. I completely understand why, but there is such a shortage on masks at the moment. If people are not allowed to go out without a mask, people are going to be stuck in the house and not able to go out anyways. So I just don't think it's feasible. Okay, but there are many people actually making their own, or even wrapping a scarf around their face. But Brian goes one step further against this.
Listen, no, they shouldn't be compulsory, because I'm not a Jew, he's not the Gestapo, and I don't live in Nazi Germany. I'd rather me self-respect than have to walk around with a mask on my face. Give over, will you, with your compulsory.
Okay, let's run a Dublin Talks text poll. Brian is saying absolutely not, it shouldn't be, it'd be like Nazi Germany. Let's run a very quick Dublin Talks text poll. And here's the question that I want to ask. And I want you to text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Just for the purposes of this poll, just by text message only, the old-fashioned way, because that's where our polls go into. So I want you to text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. And the question is, obviously, should wearing face masks in public, at least for the time being, I'm not saying forevermore, but for the time being, be mandatory? It's been done in other countries, the Czech Republic being one. Just text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Should the wearing of face masks in a public place become mandatory for the time being? Text yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. And as I said, just for the purposes of this, if you can just send your message by text message, not by WhatsApp, to 0877 98 98 98, because I want to get a very accurate poll, and our text message service allows us to create polls from your yes-no answers. So text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. I'd love to get a flavour of how you're feeling about this and whether or not it should be mandatory for the time being in order to help us to deal with this virus. Patricia, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Patricia.
Oh, hi.
Now, Patricia, how are you on this? How do you feel about this? Is this something we should look at?
Maybe, probably would be safer to stop the virus, because when I was in the shop, up in Leopardstown, there was loads of people wearing in them.
Mm. And I did notice over this weekend more wearing them now than have done in the past.
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
And what about yourself? Are you?
Sorry?
Are you wearing them?
No.
Is it because you don't have one, or because you wouldn't want to?
I'm not sure, really.
How would you feel about wearing one?
I'm not sure, really, but if they'd probably bring a law in next.
Do you think they should?
That's when I was talking. Sorry.
Do you think they should?
If they brought a law in, probably, yeah, because it probably stopped the virus.
Okay, so yes is the answer. Keep your votes coming in. We're asking you on a Dublin Talks text poll, would you support the mandatory wearing of face masks in public for the time being? As I said, we're not talking about this being a permanent feature in Irish society. We're talking about now, this minute, for the next month or two or three or whatever. Text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Now, Miriam, you are a costume designer.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Which is a good skill to have at this particular moment.
Yeah.
And you are not only making them, you are selling them through Facebook.
Yeah, basically I just saw a lot of people around the world who are posting up patterns for face masks, and I had some fabric there, and I just thought I'd start making them for myself and then for friends, and then put it on Facebook, and people have started to to buy them, and the idea basically was thinking that it's better than nothing. Like you say, it's a barrier. It could lessen.
Yes, I mean, there's nobody for 1 second suggesting this is the solution to this crisis. However,
medical masks, yeah, but at least it might. There's a lot of people that really need those masks. The medical, the front line, and if you can make your own fabric one, I think it lessens the demand. That the people who really need those can get them.
Now, obviously, not all of us have the skills that you might have for actually making them. But for those who do, how easy is it, or otherwise?
To make the mask?
Yes.
It's actually, it's handy enough. There's a lot of patterns that you can get online, and basically, it's a couple of layers of tight weave cotton. Because you're trying to make sure that less particles get through the fabric. So by putting 2 layers, and there's lots of variations of patterns where you can actually leave a pocket. So with mine, you can leave a pocket that you can actually put in the proper filter mask if you want to have that extra protection. And you can put a bit of nose wire into it so you can tighten it around the nose so it's tight fitting to the face, because that's important. If you have like 40 minutes, you can sit down and potentially make your own mask.
And a lot of us do have 40 minutes spare.
Yeah.
So if you have any sort of skills in preparing or in sewing and all of that, it's relatively easy to do, is it?
It is, and lots of people are putting up tutorials on YouTube showing exactly how to do it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So how many are you managing to make every day?
I just started last week, so I think I've made about 70 so far the last couple of days. So, hopefully trying to get a new fabric, because people keep asking me to do them now. So I'm going to keep going and getting some fabric in ordered online.
Right. Okay. So I was about to ask that. Yes. So if you were ordering fabric, what sort of fabric do you need to be ordering?
I've just been using cotton, any cotton fabric. Like I say, it has to be a tight weave cotton. So and just layer it up, put 2 or 3 layers together.
Okay, and that's the key.
At home you could use like pillowcases. Apparently, are a good thing to use, because again they have that tight weave pillowcases.
Oh, right. So that's something that an awful lot of us would have spare in our own homes is a pillowcase.
It's not that it's a special fabric. It's just that it's because they're washable. You wash them at 60 degrees, so that and you need to be washing them every day. For them to keep working, really. Cotton is very washable, so that'd be a good fabric to use.
All right, fair play, and thanks very much indeed for the advice, Miriam. Now, Stella, you are a GP working in Ireland for 15 years, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Adrian, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And originally from where?
Slovakia originally.
Slovakia, okay. You were listening to the interview with Dr. Nick Flynn a little bit earlier on, and you agree with everything he was saying?
Absolutely. I completely agree. I think it's such a small, another addition to all the precautions that we are taking already. It's such a small thing in a way, but can have a really huge impact in kind of like preventing the spread of the virus.
Now, one of the things that we're a little bit confused about, and I know a lot of our listeners have been on to us expressing this confusion, that a couple of weeks ago when this was all starting, we were being told, no need for a face mask. Yeah. No, it won't do any good. It prevents nothing. You're wasting your time. But now, increasingly, that message seems to be changing. I know in the States, for example, they're now recommending the wearing of face masks in public. Yeah. What can wearing a face mask achieve?
I think wearing a face mask, I'm just coming back to kind of like your point where it was at the beginning so confusing, I guess. Important, even in Slovakia, in my own country, is that this the kind of starting wearing the mask completely at the beginning. The problem is, and it's still remaining, that the healthcare worker have no special mask to wear. and just now the public is realizing that the homemade mask is actually perfectly fine for the general public. And I think in terms of like addressing your question, like what it can prevent is really, like we know it spreads by droplets. General public is not going to perform any aerosol generating procedures, and that means kind of, let's say, intubation or very close contact with patients. So the mask, even if it's a scarf or, exactly as the lady was saying, just a homemade mask will prevent those droplets if you cough or sneeze. And I know like most of the public now are kind of doing a really good cough hygiene and hand washing and social distancing. Everybody is really trying their best, but this would be just a little additional help to stop to prevent the virus.
And again, this isn't to stop us contracting it, because a face mask probably won't stop you contracting it, but should you have it, and this is the key to this, should you have it and you may not even realise that you have it, it will stop you spreading it to other people.
Absolutely, and that's the point, that it's mostly about spreading rather than kind of like contracting it. Like we have some of the reports that up to 20%, some of the studies are still very small, but some of the studies are suggesting that up to 20% of patients can still be asymptomatic. And that's why I say to all my patients that, it's great that you have no symptoms now, and it's great that I don't have the symptoms now, but I actually don't know if I won't develop symptoms tomorrow or you won't develop it. So it's about kind of protecting that person that you are dealing with to passing the virus on to them.
Okay, as opposed to necessarily protecting ourselves, this is all about preventing the spread of the coronavirus to other people. All right, very good. Just you say you're an active GP here in Ireland, is that right?
I am indeed in Dublin, yeah.
Very, very busy?
Very busy indeed.
All right, well,
and it's gonna get probably busier, but we are preparing anyway as well as we can.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for the work that you're doing, and thank you for talking to us on 98 FM. Let me just squeeze in a couple more calls and a couple more WhatsApps. This is from Michael.
Morning, Adrian. I'm listening there about your suggestion, or the doctor came on suggesting about face masks. But is it not that the Italians are out disinfecting the roads? If we're going to be wearing face masks, how about not having some disinfectant mats at all these shop premises as well? Because if it can be sprayed through droplets, it can be surely caught on shoes. And, that would be a probably safer option as well.
All right, Michael. And Michael actually sent us a really long message yesterday about that exact point. Vicky sent me this message.
Hi, Adrian. I believe, yes, we should be introducing mandatory face masks. Since this has become a major issue, every time I go into a supermarket, I have been wearing a face mask. I was lucky enough to be able to buy some before in January when this all started hitting China. I was on the ball and purchased some, but at the weekend I actually made my own out of 100% cotton pillowcases. I've made 3 of them. I wear them going into a shop, and when I'm finished I put them into a bag, bring them home, put it in the washing machine and wash it. I've made one for myself and I've made one for my sister, and I will not be going into a supermarket or anywhere where there's people around me in close proximity without covering my face and making sure my hands are covered.
All right, very good, Vicky. Thanks very much indeed. So pillowcases is the answer here if you don't have actual material. And as you heard, there are lots of videos online to teach you how to make them if you have any sort of skills in sewing and so on. Manita, what was your point on this?
My point was, if it's not a bit too little too late, because a lot of people already probably had it now who were wearing masks. We've been going to shopping at the beginning and everything. And I know, if you have any symptom, you're supposed to self-isolate, but I've been going for walks and stuff without wearing them. And my issue was probably the confusion of it all. Because
and it is something that I did say to Dr. Nick Flynn earlier on about this mixed messaging that we've been getting. On the one hand, we were being told a couple of weeks ago, no need for face masks, and now more.
Now the panic of like, oh, we didn't wear the face mask from the get go. So what do we do now? Or if we do get it, or how much have we been exposed to it now? Because we, for people who didn't get the mask. Like, I live in Navan, I can't even get the mask at all.
And would you have any skill set to be able to make some out of a pillowcase?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can try everything. We have loads of time now. So, it's not about trying and making them, but it's probably now, are we going to panic now because we didn't start from the get-go using them?
But this isn't this isn't official guidance from the government at this stage. Other countries have made it mandatory. Other countries in Eastern Europe appear to have made it mandatory to wear face masks in public. They haven't done it here yet. But as I was saying, maybe it's too late for us to start introducing it now, but maybe it's not. In order to relax our lockdown a little bit, maybe it's something that would help relax the lockdown a little bit to stop further spread of this virus.
I suppose it's just that it's not going to create a more, it's already, you're trying to contain or trying not to freak out probably, and then suddenly every day you find something different and new. And then you're like, oh, I didn't do that from the get-go, and I didn't do that. So what do we do now? Sure, we can start now. But it's not. Just creating a lot of.
The virus isn't gone yet, though, Manita. And obviously, there's a risk in the future of it returning. We need to be really on our guard to prevent that. And maybe this is just one thing to do. Dan sent me this WhatsApp voice note. He's not at all happy.
Jesus Christ! It's common sense. You wear a mask when you're out in public. The virus is spread by droplets, so obviously you wear a mask. Why would you wait around for a stupid, incompetent government to tell you that? We're not babies. Use your common sense. Look what the other countries are doing.
Yeah, Dan, you can talk about common sense. I noticed over the weekend about 20% of people wearing them, so that's 80% of people that aren't. I'm one of the people. I wasn't wearing one when I was in a supermarket on Saturday. Kevin sent me this.
Hi, Adrian. Kevin here. I agree to wearing the masks and all, but people forget for people that have asthma. It's very hard to keep their masks on 24/7 because you're breathing quicker to get through your nose and your mouth. So I do agree, but you should be allowed to take them down every few minutes.
Kevin, nobody has in any way suggested you wear a mask 24/7. You hardly have to wear it when you're in bed on your own at night, do you? We're talking about when you're out in public, when you're in your supermarket. And finally, Simon's partner works in a supermarket and they're not wearing masks.
Hi, Adrian. My wife working in the supermarket and she's not allowed to wear any protectional equipment. No masks, no goggles, and that's really frustrating me because customers are wearing them and staff can't, and the last thing I want her to bring something back at home to our little one. I know masks are not protecting 100%, but at least they give some kind of level of protection. Thanks.
All right, Simon, and finally, Jack has an alternative idea to face masks.
Oh yeah, Adrian. Just a quick thing about the face mask there. HEPA filter vacuum bags. They're allergen and all that. There was a doctor on YouTube, I think if you can look her up, him and his wife are doing it, and I think it's a great idea.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Jack. I'll look into that. Now, we were asking you in a Dublin Talks text poll, and by the way, huge response to that. Here's the question we asked. Should we introduce the mandatory wearing of face masks for the time being for people out in public? And our poll shows that 66% of you said yes. That's very interesting. 66% of you said yes, it should become mandatory for the time being. 34% of you said no, it shouldn't. So not full support for that idea as there has been for other things that have been done, but still 66% of you saying yes, it should become mandatory for the time being. And the best advice that we've gotten, if you're looking for something to make a face mask out of the material in the average cotton pillowcase is ideal, and most of us probably have a spare one around the house that we don't need anymore, or we can live without. You're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy. We're here until midday today. Now, on the way after the break, over the last couple of weeks on this show, we've been talking to lots of you about stories of COVID-19 kindness. Stories of people in your area or your community doing great things, charitable things during this tough time. We're going to hear a couple of stories straight after the break of two men who decided to use lockdown to do something charitable. And I'd love to hear from you on 6797981 of stories to tell that you can share with me of COVID-19 kindness. It's simple. Call me right now on 6797981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. A quick break. We're back in just a moment.
The sound of the city from Drumcondra to Dorky. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. We're here until midday today. I want to share a few stories of COVID-19 kindness. Call us right now on 6797981 if you or somebody you know has done something that can only be described as COVID-19 kindness. Call us right now on 6797981. What good deeds are people doing in your community that is helping to lift spirits and is helping to help those who need help? Call me now. 6797981 is our telephone number. Firstly, let's go to Crumlin. And on Saturday in Crumlin, a marathon was completed. Now, doing a marathon at the best of times, 42 odd kilometres, is no mean feat. But doing it, Leon, 170 laps of the green where you live.
Yeah, it was 168 laps of a small green in Windmill Park in Crumlin.
That's unbelievable. 168 laps, right. So you obviously had it measured out to work out how many laps you had to do.
Oh, well, I had to do a test run there a couple of days beforehand, yeah.
So, what made you decide to run a marathon of 168 laps of the green near where you live?
Well, I got the idea off of Twitter, Adrian. I seen a lad in England, I don't know if you've seen it or not, he done a marathon in a 6 metre back garden.
I did.
And he raised a lot of money for the NHS. So, I got the idea on Twitter that I put it up on Twitter. If I got 5,000 retweets, that I'd do the Dublin Marathon, the marathon around my small green. And it went up to about 500. So I was talking to a couple of lads off the football team I played for from the old county, and I said I'd put it on Instagram and see how it goes. If I raise €5,000 for the frontline workers, that I do the marathon. This was only on Tuesday gone. So it kicked off and I set up a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe started off on the Tuesday, went up to £1,000 by Wednesday. And I was then I had to do it, I was saying to myself, this is going to kick off. And we done it Saturday at 12 o'clock, and a lot of other places got involved. Like a lad from Drimnagh, Fitness Frankie, he done it in his 2 kilometre area in Drimnagh. A couple from Cherry Orchard Running Club done it from up in Cherry Orchard around their small area. And then I had a local football club, Crumlin United, the chairman and manager, Martin Loughlin, said he'd walk the marathon with me and while I'm running it for. So it took me 4.5 hours to do it.
And how much money have you raised, Leon?
We have raised altogether from Tuesday to, we closed the donation on Sunday at 6 o'clock, and we've raised €8,000.
Excellent. That is unbelievable. €8,000.
The community got together and this was absolutely amazing. Like everyone from around the area in the green, out their doors, going around beeping their horns. It was absolutely unbelievable. But that short space of time to raise that amount of money
is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. That is really, really brilliant. And then all the proceeds going to?
Frontline workers down in St. James's Hospital.
Excellent. Very good. Had you run many marathons before?
That is my first marathon to run, yeah.
Really?
First one, yeah.
How did you find it?
Very tough now,
I'd say so.
Tough. The help I got from the likes of the local clubs, the football clubs around the area who supported me, like the Martin, the Old County lads came out and supported me. They were all sitting around in their cars, beeping their horns, and then the Cherry Orchard Running Club, and then the lad from Drimnagh, Fitness Frankie, he done his on the same time. We all done it at the same time, on the Saturday, and we tied in after, and the support has just been amazing,
That's incredible. You ought to be very proud of yourself. Your very first marathon, run around 168 laps around your green in Crumlin, which I imagine after a period of time was getting tedious running around the same lap the whole time, was it?
It is, but I put a plan out that I'd change direction every 5 kilometres, but I think after the first 20 kilometres I went down my head. You
just kept at it.
9 then I just, the head went, but I went 36 kilometres without stopping, and then I had to take a little small break of walking down through about 2 kilometres, and then I picked it up again then to finish it off, but as I said, it was for a great cause, and
absolutely.
And the money we made was absolutely unbelievable,
€8,000 for the frontline workers in St. James's Hospital. That is an amazing achievement. And come here, will you run a marathon again if that was your first one?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I got a text off a lad I didn't sleep great on the night of the marathon, the night before, and on the night after it. I got a text then about 7:30 off a friend of mine. Would you be able to get are you still looking for a ticket for the Dublin Marathon? and I just laughed at myself, but I was in pain, and I was just saying to myself, not a chance, but now thinking of what I've done, and I think now if all things go well, October, that'll be my goal to go and do the Dublin Marathon.
To do it again. Well, fair play to you, Leon. You did your marathon around the green at your estate, so obviously it was within your 2 kilometres. Wait till you get a load of this story, Leon. I'm joined on the other line by Gavin Furlong from Portmarnock. Gavin, you also committed to doing a full marathon, but yours was in an even tighter confined space.
Yes, it was. It was in my back garden.
In your back garden?
It was, yeah. So I had 9 metres in length. So I like your other caller there, I took inspiration from many folks in the UK and that French runner who did it on his balcony. So I was meant to be over in Manchester, but like many other things, the Manchester Marathon was cancelled. So I was committed to doing a marathon. So I thought, what better way? I had a bit of fun and challenged myself a little bit more.
Now, a 9 metre long back garden, how did you even work out how to do 42 kilometres?
Looking up GPS watch, but then I also went back just in case if GPS failed me, how many times I'd have to just calculated the many laps I'd have to do in order to hit the 42.2 kilometres. So it was 4,000.
So that was running. Was that doing a lap around the garden? So many laps did you do?
It was straight up and down, Adrian.
So just back and forward and back and forward?
Back and forth, chasing my tail, 4,700 times approximately.
4,700 lengths of your garden? My God almighty. And this would be very, very different to your average marathon because you were stopping, starting, were you?
Absolutely, yeah. It was difficult because you can't build up a head of steam because you're constantly turning and you're pivoting, you know. So,
you must have had very sore ankles, did you?
I'm actually very surprised. They're not too bad. I'm not hopping down the stairs or sliding down my bum. But, all right for the moment.
That's fantastic. And you were raising money for Pieta House, is that right?
That's correct, yeah. So at the moment, I managed to live stream it on the day and open up the donations on the day. And last I looked, I'm donations up to about 3,800. So it's I set a target of €200, and to hit that kind of number, I'm overwhelmed, and it's the generosity of complete strangers that's got it up that high. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that is fantastic. It really is. Well, Leon and Gavin, I get tired at the thought of driving 42 kilometres, so I just have to congratulate both of you for achieving, Leon, in your case, your very first marathon. Gavin, you were committed to doing a marathon this weekend, and you did it in your back garden. Brilliant achievements, and as I said, St James's Hospital and Pieta House both benefiting from your achievements over the weekend. Well done to both of you. Leon, well done, and I know you're very grateful for the support that you got from the people in Crumlin.
Thanks very much, sir. Adrian, thank you.
And Gavin, well done to you as well. That really is some achievement. It's unbelievable, actually, so fair play to you as well. Thanks very much indeed, both of you, for talking to us.
Thanks, Adrian.
All right, bye-bye. There you go. Isn't that brilliant? Really is. Like I said, I get tired driving 42 kilometres, let alone running it in a confined space. Bernie, tell me about the COVID-19 kindness that has been done for you.
My neighbour across the road, she is a stalwart now. She's been over and making me cakes and doing me bit of shopping and all that. I'd like to send out a big, huge thank you to her.
Because you're self-isolating
well,
yourself?
I've been in, Adrian. I've been outside the door twice since the 15th of March.
Okay, so
you just have to get the little bit of fresh air now and again, because I'm in the vulnerable age bracket.
Okay.
But she's been brilliant.
Doing all of your shopping for you.
Very good. She's brilliant, she is. I tell everybody that's listening not to forget the candlelight vigil on Saturday night.
Now, it's something we're going to come back to talking about later on in the week, and we will give that a bit of a push later on.
And put out their flags, put out their bum things, cheer the place up a bit.
Absolutely. All right, Bernie.
Thanks a million, Adrian.
What's your neighbour's name?
Jackie.
Jackie, well done, Jackie. And thank you for doing all the Bernie shopping for her. And does she just leaves it at the front door for you, does she?
Just leaves it at the front door in the bag, yeah.
That's fantastic, very good.
And that's great.
All
and
right,
my
Bernie.
own girls who've been driving up from Portlaoise, Newbridge and Mead, just to look at just to see the kids in the car outside of the gate and have a little wave. It's very sad, but it has to be done.
Has to be done. You stay safe, Bernie, and thanks very much
Adrian.
indeed. All right, bye-bye.
God bless. Bye.
There you go. There's some examples of COVID-19 kindness. And by the way, if there is an event or a fundraiser that you're involved in that you'd like to highlight on the show, throw us over an email to dublintalks@98fm.com. dublintalks@98fm.com. Send us an email with the details and we will do our best to publicise any events that are being held in order to, well, when I say events, they're self-isolated events, but the likes of the marathon and so on. Send it on to us and we will happily give it some publicity. Now, you're listening to 98 FM. On the way after the break, I'm going to be joined by our Jeremy, who's in a different part of our building. Is he there now? I think he is. Oh, no, he's not, actually. No, he's not. We're going to be asking you to tell us something we don't know. This is a feature we do regularly on the programme. And this is where we ask you to share with us some fascinating fact that you think you're the only one that knows. Call us right now on 6797 981. You can text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. We want you to tell us something that we don't know.
The sound of the city, from Kilbarrack to Kiltiernan. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Socially isolated in a different part of our building is our Jeremy. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Now, this is the part of the show that we call Tell Us Something We Don't Know. Tell our listeners what we're looking for here.
Well, I have one for you straight away. Did you know, I only found this out recently, did you know that a cat will remember you for up to 2 years?
Really?
I'll give you the very quick background to this. So, about 3 years ago, we went to Lanzarote for holidays, okay? And we were staying in a lovely little apartment, yeah? And in this apartment complex, there was a cat that used to hang around every day and used to come up to our apartment door and meow, meow, meow. And my wife used to feed him, yeah? And we got to know the cat for that week's holidays when we were in Lanzarote. A year later, we went back to the exact same place. We always go to Lanzarote, by the way. And we arrived at the apartments, and the cat was still there and came over to my wife. Meow, meow, feed me, feed me. Well, it was in Spanish, but you get my drift. And my wife turned around and says, look, the cat remembers us a year later. Isn't that amazing? And I was like, would you ever cop on? Cats cannot remember people after a year. So she showed me research, and it's actually true. A cat can remember you after spending a short bit of time with you for up to 2 years. So you could literally...
But would it not be a case that cat always goes to that apartment that you were staying in?
I thought that as well, Adrian, but the research is there. I looked it up. And a dog can remember you for up to 7 years, apparently. So if you meet a dog the next time you're on holidays, you meet a dog outside your hotel or whatever, and you get to know him, and you spark up a relationship with him, then you leave, and then you go back to that hotel 3 years later for holidays, that dog will remember you. Fact.
That is something I did not know. And that is what this part of our show is. We want you to text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98 and tell us something we don't know. This is a fascinating fact that you have and you reckon we don't know. Test us. And we'll also test the validity of it as well and check up whether or not it could possibly be true. So once again, call us on 6797 981 or send a text, a WhatsApp, or a WhatsApp voice note, and you can involve the kids on 0877 98 98 98. Tell us something we don't know. Are you ready for these? Are you going to sleep?
No, I'm ready. No, I'm ready to type away, yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
right.
Here's one straight away I didn't know from Graham. Do you know what COVID stands for in COVID-19?
Coronavirus something or other.
Coronavirus disease.
Oh, right, okay.
I never knew that.
Coronavirus disease, COVID. Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense, yeah. Okay, thank you. And the 19 is because it broke out in 2019.
I don't think that's the answer.
No, that is the answer.
Oh, is it?
It is, yeah. Anya, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Anya.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Good, thank you, Anya. Anya, tell us something we don't know.
Well, this fact actually blew my mind, but I found out recently that your brain doesn't stop growing and wiring and forming till the age of 25.
So your brain continues to develop and grow.
Wire and knit and grow and cement up to the age of 25. So, like nutritionally, alcohol and all that, like we tend to drink quite young and on like 18. But imagine from 18 to 25, your brain is still growing, forming and wiring.
Yeah, that's actually true. Just looked it up. Your brain typically reaches maturity at the age of 25. Now, my wife says my brain still hasn't reached maturity. But
Do I get a prize? Do I get a prize for that?
No, sorry about that. No, I could send you to the cinema on you, but there aren't any open, so that'd be a pointless exercise.
I could go afterwards.
You possibly could, yeah. But no. Anya tells us that your brain continues to grow until the age of 25, and we have fact-checked that, and she is 100% right. If you have a fascinating fact that you want to tell us something we don't know. Call us right now on 6797 981. You can also text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Here is a WhatsApp voice note.
On the M50, if you're going southbound, there's a junction 14. If you're coming northbound, there is no junction 14. It goes 15, 13.
Oh.
I'm looking it up. Junction 14, is that what he said?
Junction 14 on the M50. If you're heading southbound, it exists. If you're heading northbound, it doesn't. Is that right?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, something like that. Let's have a listen to it again.
On the M50, if you're going southbound, there's a junction 14. If you're coming northbound, there is no junction 14. It goes 15, 13.
Who knew?
No, the junction 14 is the N31.
Yeah, but it's only going southbound. You get off at exit 14. You can't get off at exit 14 coming the other direction. He's actually right.
Oh.
If you're heading northbound, you pass Carrick Mines, there is no exit 14.
Oh my God, yes, I just looked it up. Yeah, the exit going one way for 14 is Dunleary to Lorgan.
Yeah.
And going the other way, no exit.
Yeah, there you go. He was dead right. Keep them coming in to 0877 98 98 98. Tell us a fascinating fact that you reckon we don't know and our listeners don't know. And we'll fact check it and make sure that you're not telling porkies. Okay? Here is another WhatsApp voice note.
I don't want to talk on the radio because I'm working from home. But I don't know if this is an unknown fact, but the women in Turkey were the first women that were allowed to vote. I was on holiday once and I was reading it in a brochure in the hotel, and the reason for that was to up the numbers for each party to have more numbers of votes.
Oh, so she's basically saying that Turkey was the first country in the world to emancipate women. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm looking it up here, and no, I think it was New Zealand, actually.
Oh.
That's a random place to give a woman the first vote, isn't it?
Turkey?
No, New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. And when was that?
1893.
Oh, was the first vote for women was in 1893 in New Zealand.
New Zealand became the first permanent country to allow women to vote.
A fascinating fact.
Oh, sorry, back to the M50. A lot of people texting in. There's no exit at Junction 2 on the M50 going southbound. So you know if you're...
Yeah.
If you get in your car now and you drive to Belfast,
Yep.
And you're on the M50, Junction 2 is Coolock and Santry, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Going the other way, there's no junction.
And there's also, finally, on the M50, and we've mentioned this before, there is no Junction 8 in either direction on the M50, and that's between the Red Cow roundabout, or what was the Red Cow roundabout, and what's the next? The Lucan exit. There is no Junction 8 in between the two of them. There was originally planned to be one, but it never happened. So that's how there's no Junction 8. Rita, tell us something we don't know.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Rita.
Oh, my God. First time on the radio.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I never, ever miss your show. Never in a million years. Fact. And I bet you didn't know that.
Oh, that's the fact we didn't know.
So your fascinating fact is that you never miss our show, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there, Rita?
Yeah, I'm listening to myself on the other side. Oh my God, it sounds deadly. I can't believe it.
And you're hearing yourself 10 seconds delayed as well, because we use a 10-second delay.
Oh yeah, no, I can hear you saying Rita now. Oh my God.
Why have you never rang the radio show before?
Oh, I text you loads of times, but I just never say anything on there. I hate my own voice.
You hate your own voice. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
no,
and I just listen to you all the time, and I just get everyone to listen. Everybody.
You're very good. Thanks very much.
Rita, here's a fascinating fact for you that just got sent in from, who's that, from Barry, yeah? Listen to this. Did you know, lads, that more Guinness is sold in Nigeria than Ireland?
Yeah, I knew that.
Although that would make sense.
Why?
Because Nigeria has like 50 times the population of Ireland.
No. Per head of population.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, per head of population. Yes, it's true. Per head of population, more Guinness is sold in Nigeria than Ireland. In other words,
guys, I'm backing you up here.
Yeah, thank you. You're very good. Yeah, that is actually true. Per head of population, more Guinness is sold in Nigeria than in Ireland.
But there's more people in Nigeria.
Per head of population. Which part of that did you not hear?
So you take an average person in Nigeria, they drink more Guinness than an average person in Ireland.
Correct.
That's mad.
Yeah, it's mad, yeah. Here's a WhatsApp voice note.
Lads, did you know that all the door numbers, all the addresses on the north side are odd numbers, and all the numbers on the south side are even numbers? I think that's something also to do with the whole thing on the motorway with the junctions as well, with the junction numbers. It's pretty strange. I don't know why. Anyway, Kieran here. Cheers.
Thank you, Kieran. Yes, that is true.
Apart from one thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say, yeah. There is one part of the north side that has an even postcode.
Don't tell them.
No, I'm not. I'm going to see if you can guess it, okay? So send us a WhatsApp right now, 0877, very quickly, 0877 98 98 98. There is one part of the north side that has an even postcode. Where?
And there's only one place, isn't it?
There's only one place, yeah. Yeah. Everywhere else on the north side has an odd-numbered postcode. On the south side, it has an even-numbered postcode, except for one part of the north side that has an even postcode. Where is it? Does anybody know?
And it's a very big area.
It is. Aideen, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Aideen.
Hi, how are you?
Aideen, tell us something we don't know.
The name Wendy originated from the book Peter Pan. The author actually came up with the name.
Oh, just invented it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true, Jeremy? Please fact check that for me.
I can only type so fast. Peter. Yes. Peter Pan was the first ever example of the name Wendy being used. So that book was written in whatever. What year was that book written?
Couldn't tell you.
A long time ago.
Yeah. There you go.
Actually, 1902. So before 1902, there was no Wendy's.
Yeah. So anyone who has the name Wendy is special.
So what was the little kid's house called then that girls played in?
Just a house. Just a house. It was just a house. Doll's
they
house.
used to be called dolls' houses.
That's brilliant, Wendy, or Aideen. Thank you very much indeed. And finally, Joe, you're on 98 FM. Joe, tell us something we don't know.
I can tell you that carrots used to be purple. That was their original colour.
Which was?
Carrots.
Carrots are orange.
Purple. They used to be purple. The very first carrot was actually purple.
Is this correct, Jeremy?
Yes, it is. Before the 17th century, carrots were in fact purple. My God, it's impossible for me to get my kids to eat carrots as it is. Imagine I'm trying to eat them if they're purple.
Yeah. Thank you. And finally...
Hi guys, fascinating fact. Your ears and nose continue to grow as we get older. Who knew?
Did you know that, Jeremy?
No, but I do know.
I met you 20 odd years ago and you had a small little button nose, and now the thing is filling half your face because.
No, but old men always have huge noses
and ears. Yeah. All right, thank you very much indeed for all of your fascinating facts. And by the way, the answer to the part of Dublin that is on the north of the city that has an even numbered postcode is the Phoenix Park, because the Dublin 8 postcode stretches on both sides of the river and encompasses the Phoenix Park. So there you are. Other than that, it's all odd numbers on the north side, even numbers on the south side. Thank you very much indeed for all of your fascinating facts. We are back again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And if there is anything that you would like us to bring up on the programme tomorrow, please send us an email to dublintalks@98fm.com. dublintalks@98fm.com. Send us an email right now, and you can also private message us through our Facebook page as well. Have a good Monday. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 10. Barry Dunn is next, and in the next hour, he's got some great music lined up like these.
Sound of the city from Lucan to Lusk. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talk.